Special Agent. It is week 4, and the task force has received another communication from the math problem killer. In this communication, he indicates that he is holding a young woman named Joanna Davis at 789 Elmwood Lane. He also indicates that we can send one agent inside to attempt a rescue. Since you've been so successful in your last 3 operations, I've decided to send you. Now, 789 Elmwood Lane is an abandoned construction site similar to the previous 3 facilities. You can also expect to find traps on each of the doors. Remember, the suspect is not letting you inside out of the kindness of his heart. He wants you to fail one of his problems, because if you do, the hostage dies. With that being said, do not succumb to haste or recklessness. Rash decisions will not only jeopardize your safety, but also the successful outcome of this operation. Your ability to remain calm, rational, and focused will be your greatest asset. Now get inside that facility and bring Joanna Davis out alive.
I watched your press conference. It only took 3 weeks before your pathetic task force gave up and had to ask for help from the public. Well, I think I need to give the city my own press conference. Your press conference asked for people to come forward with information about me. Mine will show them what will happen if they do. But instead of your pathetic, hollow words, I will choose action. Instead of killing 1 family this week, I will butcher 4. I went to Pierre's Bar and Grill on 74th Street for 4 days in a row. Each night I chose someone, and I followed them home. On the first night, I saw Carol Townsend, age 37, and her husband, Benjamin Townsend, age 43. They were young. They were attractive. They were going to die. I hope your press conference was worth it. I followed the Townsends home. It took us 36 minutes. After they went inside, I positioned myself near a window. I was so close. I could hear them. There was a third Townsend in the house, Benjamin's brother, Glenn, aged 46. After 47 minutes of watching and listening, Carol and Benjamin went upstairs. That left Glenn alone. It was time for action. This is Brady Myers, age 39. He walked in on me while I was playing with Carol and Benjamin. With tears in their eyes and muffled screams behind the duct tape on their mouths, the Townsends begged Brady to help them. But the moment Brady saw what was happening, he froze, stammered, and then tried to run away. But he wasn't fast enough. I tied him to a chair down the hall from Carol and Benjamin, and I made him listen for the next 7 hours. After the Townsends were dead, I slit Brady's throat. The front door was locked, but the window was not. In a matter of seconds, I was inside the house and behind Glenn. I wrapped a wire around his neck and I pulled, and I pulled. He was dead in 16 seconds. I then went upstairs. It took me another 47 seconds to subdue Benjamin and Carol, then duct tape them to chairs and begin to play with my knives. It was messy work. I want you to start with Brady Myers' age, then multiply by the number of hours I used my knives on the Townsends. I want you to next add Carol Townsend's age, then multiply the number of seconds it took me to kill Glenn Townsend after I wrapped the wire around his neck. The answer will open door number 1 and get you 1 room closer to Joanna Davis. Unless of course you make a mistake, Special Agent. Then Joanna burns. Did you like that, Special Agent? Did you like my press conference about the Townsends? How I made Brady Myers listen for 7 hours while I used my knives on Carol and Benjamin? I do enjoy an audience. Well, unlike your press conference, Special Agent, mine is not over. On the second night, I went to the same restaurant on 74th Street, and I sat at the same bar. It was 8 p.m. I looked for my next playthings. I found the Jacksons. This is Lucas Jackson. He was 19. As I entered the Jackson house, I saw him playing video games on the couch with a headset on. He did not want to disturb his family, but he also could not hear me approach from behind. I shoved a kitchen knife into his throat. It took him 17 seconds to die. He was the first. He would not be the last. After dealing with Lucas, I crept down the hallway and found David Jackson. He was 21 years old. He was asleep in the guest bedroom. He was big, and he was strong, and he would be a serious problem if he woke up. I slashed his throat with a knife from the kitchen. He died in 23 seconds. The Jacksons were a beautiful family of 4. They would make a perfect press conference for the city. A perfect example of what would happen if a family came forward with information about me. When the Jacksons finished dinner, I followed them home. We arrived at their house at 9 p.m. I waited for everyone to go to bed. I waited for them to turn off the lights. 2 hours later, I entered the house. Dumb, stupid little task force agent. Do you see what happens when you do a press conference? When you ask the community for help to catch me? I strike back at the community. The Jacksons would still be alive if you do not have that press conference, Special Agent. Think about that. Now think about this. You must start with David Jackson's age, then add Tony Jackson's age. Then multiply by the number of seconds it took Lucas Jackson to die. The answer will be variable A. Like I said earlier, Special Agent, I enjoy an audience. This is Amanda Jackson. She's 49. I made her listen. Now I want you to listen. I want you to start with the number of nails I hammered into Tony Jackson. Then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Lucas to die after I slashed his throat. You will then add variable A. The answer will open door number 2. This is Tony Jackson. He was 52. He heard me tackle Amanda to the ground. He came running and saw me duct taping her. He charged me. I quickly pulled out a taser pistol and shot him. He woke up hanging by his hands in the garage. I started asking him math questions. If he got one wrong, I would hammer a nail into his body. I hammered 138 nails into Tony Jackson's body. The body gets messy. after 138 nails. Special Agent. Real messy. Instead of killing each family member individually, I wanted a group activity. I wanted everyone to see each other, to be close to each other when it all happened. Once we returned to their house, I went inside. I went room by room, taking my time. And one by one, I bound and I gagged each member of the Roger family. I tied their arms, covered their mouths, tied their legs in duct tape. This is Jason Rogers. He was 51, and he was the father. When the other three were in a circle, I slit open Jason Rogers' throat. It took him 29 seconds to die. The playtime had begun. On the third night, I walked into the restaurant at 74th Street, sat at the bar, and began my hunt again. After 26 minutes, I found my next meal. The Rogers. They were a beautiful family of 4, just like the Jacksons. I followed them home. It took us 52 minutes. This is Paula Rogers. She was 23 years old. Paula was a very bad girl. She was able to get free from her chair after I killed Jason. She grabbed a kitchen knife and charged me. I grabbed a nearby chair and I threw it at her. She halted and shielded herself from the chair. In that time, I was able to charge her and put her on the ground. As a punishment, I hung her by her hands in front of the other 2 Rogers, Laura and Peter. And then I began asking each one of them a math question. If they got it right, I went to the next person. If they got it wrong, I hammered a nail into Paula. I hammered 47 nails into Paula before she died. Isn't this wonderful, Special Agent? I have butchered 3 families. And I haven't even told you how I found Joanna Davis, who was locked inside the crate at the end of this facility. Well, if you want to find out about Joanna, you must start with the number of nails I hammered into Paula, then multiply by the number of seconds it took Jason Rogers to die, then add Peter Rogers' age, then add the number of minutes it took me to find the Rogers at the restaurant. You will finally add variable A. The answer will open door number 3. This is Laura Rogers. She was 46. She is the mother. I killed her last, Special Agent. She was alone with me for 4 hours. 4 hours. When it was over, I put her out of her misery. Now let me give you a little misery. I want you to start with Laura's age, then multiply by her husband Jason Rogers' age. The answer will be variable A. This is Peter Rogers. He was 19 years old. He was the second last to die. After Paula was dead, I asked him a math question. He spit in my face, so I cut off his tongue. Then I cut off his fingers, and then I cut off his nose, and then I cut open his stomach and pulled out his intestines. No one spits in my face, Special Agent. No one. On the fourth night, I arrived at the university on 74th Street. I was there for 22 minutes, and then I saw her. I saw Joanna Davis. She was 26 years old. She was a part-time waitress and a full-time student at the local state university. I had gone to the restaurant to find another family, but the moment I saw Joanna, I knew she had to be mine. I watched her for 2 hours, and then I left and I waited in my car until the end of her shift. She left the restaurant at 10 p.m. She had changed her clothing. She wore a short skirt with black leggings underneath and high heels. She was beautiful, and she was going to be mine. I began to follow her. We walked for 3 blocks. She went into the bar on 77th Street. I watched her for 2 hours at the bar. She was going to be mine. After 2 hours at the bar, she took a ride share back to her apartment. It took us 37 minutes to reach her apartment complex. She was nearly drunk and stumbled to get to the door. It was almost too easy. I got out of my car, approached her from behind, and I grabbed her. 46 minutes later, she was at my dungeon. I want you to start with Joanna's age and add the number of minutes I was at the restaurant before I saw Joanna. Then multiply the street number of the bar she went to after work. Your answer will be variable A. You must start with the number of minutes it took me to take Joanna back to my dungeon after I abducted her. Then add the number of minutes it took me to reach her apartment from the bar. Then multiply this number by the number of hours I watched her at the bar. The answer will be variable B. If you want to open the final door and reach my Joanna Davis, you must add variable A to variable B. Or is that too hard for you, Special Agent? You know you're going to fail, right? You are going to make a mistake and you are going to kill Joanna Davis. You finally reached the final door, Special Agent. Beyond this door is Joanna Davis. The lovely, sweet Joanna Davis. And all you have to do is enter the correct code into the door. You can do that, right, Special Agent? Because if you don't, Joanna will burn. Did you like my press conferences, Special Agent? Have you learned your lesson? Or are you going to hold more press conferences? This dungeon is a museum to the consequences of your task force's actions. If not for you, the Jackson family would be alive. If not for you, the Townsends would be alive. If not for you, the Rogers would still be alive. You challenged my work, and so I butchered people. And if you keep challenging my work, I will continue to butcher and murder and slaughter. Do you understand that, Special Agent? Jacksons. I want you to start with the number of nails I hammered into Tony Jackson's body. Then add that by the age of Amanda Jackson. And then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Lucas Jackson to die after I slit his throat with the kitchen knife. The answer will be variable B. The blood of the Rogers family is on your task force's hands, Special Agent. I want you to start with the number of seconds it took Jason Rogers to die after I slit his throat. Then multiply that by the number of hours I was alone with Laura Rogers. Then add the number of nails I hammered into Paula Rogers. Then add Peter Rogers' age. The answer will be variable C. The pretty Joanna Davis is locked inside that metal crate, Special Agent. If you want to unlock it, you must add variable A to variable B, and then add variable C. If you enter the wrong code into the keypad, Joanna Davis is going to burn alive. And it will be all your fault. Think carefully, Special Agent. Your mistakes have consequences.
Alright everyone, let's get this meeting started. I want to first congratulate the Special Agent that entered this facility and recovered Joanna Davis alive. Outstanding job, Special Agent. But now it's time for the bad news. As you all know, last week we held a press conference asking the community to come forward with any information they may have about the math problem killer. In response to that press conference, our killer went to a restaurant and butchered 4 families. Make no mistake, people. Every decision we make has serious consequences. I have agents interviewing employees at Pierre's, and the Task Force Digital Forensics Unit is going through the restaurant's surveillance footage. So far, no employee remembers anyone of note at 7 p.m. Additionally, there is no financial record of Townsend, Jackson, or Davis paying for food at Pierre's. That is not to say that the killer's story was untrue. Our task force crime scene investigators informed me that there is a significant amount of human remains throughout the facility. Their early estimates suggest at least enough for 4 families, so it is entirely possible that the story he told our agent was true, he just changed the names and the locations. Alright everyone, this is the end of week 4, and if the killer's pattern is consistent, we can expect more victims next week. So let's get to work and catch this guy before that happens. That is all. Let's get hunting.
Subscribe.